So today I'm going to show you how to make Greek pita at home. It can't be simpler than that, and it can't be more delicious because it's so fresh. It's totally different than the ones that you buy outdoors. It's so versatile. You can use it for so many purposes, including creating a quick pizza whenever you feel like it, because you can freeze them after you bake them and have them there for time of need. Let's start. I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour here. I have 2.5 teaspoons of salt and 2.5 teaspoons of yeast, dry yeast. I have a tablespoon of olive oil and 1.25 of a cup of water. So that's all you need for this recipe. I will leave the dough to be sticky and soft because that's what makes really soft and delicious pita. So let me show you what I do. First of all, I will create a little cavity here. I'll put the yeast in there. I'll cover it because I don't want the salt to come in direct touch with the yeast. Salt normally it slows down the yeast or it can kill it sometimes. So then I will add the oil, the salt, I mix, and now I will add the olive oil. It's tablespoon. You can go a little bit more than tablespoon. Here I have only 1 tablespoon. You can go up to 2 if you wish it to be, more crispy when you toast it. So, and into this I will put 1.25 cups of water, and with a dough spatula I just roll my bowl, mixing the flour with the water. So as you see, I'm not kneading even, I'm just mixing until all the flour gets wet and it absorbs the liquid, in this case the water. As soon as the flour has absorbed the water almost completely, we will need to test it because I need to feel the dough, and that's what's fun about dough. You need to really feel it to make sure that it is the right consistency and to help it take all the ingredients evenly inside. So what I do is I just take a piece and I just turn it around, trying to collect all the dry flour that is on the side of the bowl. So now, as soon as we collected the flour from the bowl, we just let the dough rest for 10 minutes so we can manage it much better and knead it into what we want it to be as a final pliable dough. Cover it with saran wrap and let it rest for 10 minutes. Now that the dough has rested, I will just take the corner and pull it up and turn it around. So I'm not really kneading, I'm just turning it around, and see how soft it is. It just falls, stretches. You do this for like a minute or 2. See, just like that. I'm not kneading it in the bowl, I'm just pulling it, taking it out and beating it back into the bowl. I do this, and as soon as I feel that it has toughened a little bit, or about a minute, I just put it back, cover it, and let it rise to double in size. The pita has risen. Now we need to separate it to 8 small bowls to make each one into one Greek pita. What I do, I just pour a little bit of olive oil on my hand because the dough is very, very soft and sticky. but we want it to be sticky because that's what makes the pita so delicious and so soft. So this way I will avoid having the dough sticking on my fingers. I deflate the dough, as you see, and now I just take little balls like this and I shape them into little balls. If you move your hands quickly, the stickiness is not gonna bother you too much. And if it does get too sticky, then put a little bit more oil on your fingers. And this is 7 and 8. And as you see, I have lined my pan with a silpat because I don't want those little pita balls to stick on my pan. Now I'll put this in the oven and I will put the light on. The oven is off, it's cool oven. I will turn the light in the oven on and let them rest for 15-20 minutes. It can go up to half an hour. They will rest and they will rise a little bit. That's when we open up the dough and create the pitas. I'll see you then. I have those little pita balls have rested and risen a little bit. I will take each one and see how soft it is, and I will just stretch it in my fingers. And if it's sticking, then put some oil on your hands. But what I do, the top is normally drier than the bottom because it has the air have dried it a little bit. So I make sure that my fingers are touching the top side, which doesn't stick on my finger. So I stretch it, turning it around in my hand, and as you see, it opens up on its own. It stretches. Now on the stove here, I have a non-stick pan that is hot. I have the stove on, and I take this pita that I have stretched and I just put it in there. Now slowly you will see that as it's cooking, it will start drying up from the top, and sometimes it will create some bubbles. That's when you peek under and you decide to flip or not. So as you see, you know, the color is becoming more opaque, kind of more white rather than doughy. So that's when I peek under and see if it needs to be turned. And you see it has browned a little bit. Now I'll let it cook from that side, a couple of minutes, maybe less, and that pita is done. You can make the pita as thick or as thin as you wish, depending on how much you stretch the pita. I like them thinner, my husband likes them thicker, so I make half and half. So this is done. Now I put it to cool down on a clean towel and I go for the next. Now I take another one. Look how I flip it on my hand for the dry part, which is the bottom here, to be the part that I touch with my fingers. And now I just stretch, stretch, stretch. And then you start turning it, and it stretches on its own to create this round pita. Now for this one, I'm gonna stretch it a little bit more so I can show you that we can make it thinner as well. See, this is much thinner than the previous one. Now this, I'm gonna put right in the pan.